have some folks in the Baltimore area, and plus those from Tulane also. Thanks for being with us. Quick few notes here. Please leave your line on mute, located in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. We will unmute you when we call on you for a question. We'll provide audio and video files afterwards, but if you'd like to record it yourself, please feel free to. If you do have a question, please open the chat box, enter your name and affiliation into the chat box, and we'll call on you when it's your turn. But with that, we're joined today by Orioles second round selection in the 2020 first year player draft at number 39 overall, Hudson Haskin out of Tulane. Hudson, if you'd like to start with a quick statement before we get started.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. It's pretty cool. Still got to pinch myself and come back to reality a little bit, but it's been an awesome couple days and really excited to get drafted by such an amazing franchise and ready to get going. I just also wanted to thank my parents. They've been with me from the beginning, and I made so many sacrifices over the years to help get me where I'm at now. And, words can't describe how appreciative I am of them and everything they've done. Lastly, I just want to give a shout out to my brother. I've played with him my whole life. I played with him at Tulane. It's an absolutely amazing experience being able to go through this journey with him. And, we're really excited for the future. So thank you guys again for having me. And, just super excited.
Great. Thank you, Hudson. Our first question today will be from Rock Cabaco, MASNsports.com, followed by Nathan Ruiz. Rock?
Hey, Hudson, congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
I'm just curious what this year has been like for you. I mean, you got off to the really good start, and then the sport shuts down, and you're probably wondering, how's this impact your draft status, what was going to happen? And it looks like things worked out pretty well for you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was tough. The whole world just kind of been on standstill for a bit. I think for me, the biggest thing I took away from it is just how fragile life is, and baseball specifically. It's such a blessing to be able to play at a high level and go to a great school like Tulane. But, it's easy to take that for granted sometimes. But, this situation really just put it in perspective, like it can be gone in a second. And as far as the draft goes, I felt like for me, even though it was difficult to not think about it all the time, just because it is such a significant kind of point in your life, I felt like I left everything I could on the field, and everything was out of my control. So, it was up to the teams. If they wanted to take me, I felt like I did everything I could, and just really happy where I ended up. Couldn't think of a better fit. So.
Next up, Nathan Ruiz, Baltimore Sun, followed by Dan Connolly. Nathan?
Hey, Hudson, congrats. You've got kind of a unique swing. Is that just how it's always been? How did that develop?
Yeah, thank you. It's been something that's kind of evolved over time. I think as I get older, I now have an understanding of what works for me and kind of ownership of, it may be a little unorthodox, but that's what works for me, and that's how I'm comfortable hitting. I think it's taken me 21 years to get to this point, but I feel really good with where I'm at now and where I need to be moving forward.
Dan Connolly, The Athletic, followed by Rich Dubroff. Dan?
Yeah, first of all, obviously, congratulations. Secondly, as far as your situation is concerned, it's a little bit unique. A draft-eligible sophomore, you could return to Tulane for 1, 2, maybe even 3 more years. How important is signability right now? Where do you see yourself, and do you see yourself signing and being an Oriole in the next couple months?
Yeah, got to sit down and talk with my family about it, but I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to get going. This is something I wanted to do ever since I was a little kid, and the opportunity to be a part of an organization like the Orioles is something that I really, value and cherish. So if everything works out, I'm looking forward to getting started.
Next up, Rich Dubroff, BaltimoreBaseball.com, followed by Andrew Gillis. Rich?
Hey, Hudson, what was your communications like with the Orioles pre-draft? When did they first get in touch with you? And did you expect that if you were drafted, it was going to be by
I had a conversation with the area scout right after the season had ended, and I had a Zoom call with them as well towards the draft. Um, I didn't really know much about the interest level of all the different teams and stuff. I was just kind of going through the process and hoping for the best scenario. So when I saw my name get picked, that was just a surreal experience and something that, I've worked for my whole life. So really excited.
Next up, Andrew Gillis, NBC Sports Washington. Andrew?
Hey, Hudson, congrats and thanks for doing this. I'm curious, when you look at the Orioles as an organization, they're so young and they're kind of rebuilding with young talent. How exciting is that for a player like you coming in, just looking at it from an outsider's perspective?
Yeah, it's awesome. I can remember I grew up in New York City. Was a pretty big Yankees fan, baseball fan in general, but the Orioles were always on TV, and that was kind of right when they had Adam Jones and Ryan Roberts and Wieters, and I can remember like it was yesterday watching all those games, and they were such an exciting team. So to have the opportunity to potentially join that organization and kind of continue that legacy is something that I'm really looking forward to.
Nathan Ruiz, Baltimore Sun. Nathan?
Hudson, stolen bases were a pretty big part of your game in the summer league, but didn't really show up in Tulane. How big of a part of your game is that, and why didn't that really happen at Tulane?
Yeah, it's definitely a huge part of my game. Going back from when I was in high school, I'm really aggressive, pretty fast. So I think that's actually one of my biggest strengths. At Tulane, we had a pretty good offense. We could hit a little bit, and so that like stealing bases and small ball wasn't a huge part of it. So I'm looking forward to being able to have the opportunity to run a little bit more and be aggressive and use my strengths.
Reminder to everybody, if you have a question, please enter your name and affiliation in the chat box. While we're waiting, if there's any more. Hudson, could you introduce us to a few of the folks that have joined us on the call here from Tulane?
Yeah, so I see Jay Ullman, one of the coaches there. Great guy. I'm in the view. I can only see 5 people right now. I'm trying to find everybody. I know Curtis Akey's on here. He's the director of baseball operations at Tulane. Those are the only people I can see, but both of them have had a huge impact on me, and Tulane's a great place. Really lucky to have had the opportunity to go there and owe them a lot. So it's cool having them on here.
Great. Next question from Rod Walker. Rod?
Hey, I just wanted to ask you about congratulations to you, first of all, but what was it just sort of like having, and I apologize if this has already been asked, but what was it like for you just having this season interrupted and then just having to wait through this entire process of, knowing how long the draft would be and all of that? What was that like for you? Just how tough was that part for you?
Yeah, it was definitely a unique situation. I think the toughest part was kind of, as I made mention to it before, is like nothing's really in your control. If the season was still going on, you'd still have opportunities to prove yourself and, help your stock one way or another. But with the season being cut short, you didn't really have control of anything anymore. But the way I've always kind of looked at my baseball career is just I try and leave no regrets. And I felt like I put myself in a position where I'd done everything I could to perform with how I did. And so, when the season ended, obviously it was tough. You want to keep playing. There's a lot of different emotions, but at the end of the day, I knew I could look myself in the mirror and say I gave it everything I had. So, let the chips fall where they may.
Next question, Rich Dubroff, BaltimoreBaseball.com. Rich?
Hey, Hudson, you went to the same high school as George Springer. Do you have any relationship with him? And if so, did he serve as a mentor? Did he talk to you about this process?
Yeah, I actually have never talked to him, but he has served as a mentor for me for sure. Ever since I got to Avon, he's kind of been somebody that I've looked towards as a benchmark and, tried to push myself to accomplish, half of what he has. And I tell this story, the first day I got to Avon, we have these things called chapel talks, where a student or a teacher will go up and give kind of inspirational message or something like that. And just happened the first day, baseball coach, Mr. Dowling, gave his chapel talk. And he talked about 5 Avon baseball players and their development over the years. And one of those guys was George Springer. And, you know, he came to Avon. He was like 5'1", 110 pounds. And, you know, talked about his journey throughout his high school years and going to UConn and then eventually getting picked by the Astros. And I can remember sitting there, I was 5'7", 135, and I was like, all right, like, you know, I've got 6 inches and 25 pounds on him. So that was just been my mindset, is like, if somebody's been successful in my shoes, there's no reason why I can't. So he's had a huge impact on my life, for sure.
Next, Dan Connolly, The Athletic. Dan?
Yeah, Hudson, just curious, did you guys have a draft watch party on Wednesday and Thursday? And if so, what is a 2-pick draft party like on Thursday?
No, I didn't have a draft party or anything. I'm kind of a low-key guy, so it was just me and my family. But I think in a lot of ways that kind of made it special, because those have been the people that have been with me from the beginning. And it was really cool to be able to celebrate that with them, because it's not really just about me. It's about all their efforts and amazing opportunities. So.
Last call for any other questions for Hudson. All right, no others. Hey, Adam, you want to flip us back to gallery view? We can see everybody on. Hudson, if you click gallery view, you can go to that.